Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alana and today you'll be joining me for my Tome Topple TBR. Tome Topple is a readathon that Sam from Thoughts on Tomes hosts I think a couple of times a year here and there, and I try and participate in this readathon at least once a year. Essentially, the main goal of this readathon is to read books over 500 pages. Everything else does not matter. The main thing is just to read big books. A tome, if you will. Being a big fantasy reader, this really speaks to me because I feel like a lot of the fantasy books that I read are tomes, and I love that. But this readathon gives me an excuse to sink back into that. So just quickly, I will link Sam's announcement video down below so you can check it out. It has all the dates and the prompts and all of that. I will briefly go over them here, but the original video down below. Check it out. This readathon runs from October 18th to the 31st, so it's a 2-week readathon, and I don't usually follow the prompts. I usually just find this as an excuse to rid my TBR of some really thick books, which is kind of what I'm doing again, and kind of not. My battery's going flat, hang on. I hope that angle is similar. Anyway, okay, so I have the prompts in front of me. It's sideways because I'm watching from her video. So you have a tome with a movie adaptation, tome in a genre you don't usually read, a sequel tome, read one tome, tome you started in another round, tome with the most pages, tome in a series you haven't read for a while, spooky tome because it is October, and a tome by a BIPOC author. If you get 1 to 3 of these categories filled, you're a student. If you get 4 to 6 categories filled, you're a sage, or 7 to 9 categories and you're a scholar. Also, one book can count for 2 little categories, so you can't just read one and make it fill a whole heap. As with any readathon though, it is what you make it, so you could do that if you want to. Also, just before I quickly jump into what I am sort of considering reading for those 2 weeks, let me reiterate the fact that I am a mood reader. Planned TBRs rarely happen around here, and if I force myself to read something, I will probably slump. So this could either all happen or not happen because I'm trying to pick things that I know I will feel like, but again, mood reader. It is what it is. So to start off with, an audiobook that I feel like I will probably want to pick up, and which the physical book is over 500 pages, is Treasure and Dirt by Chris Hammer. This is a new release as of either September or October, and it is by an Australian crime author. I recently listened to one of his other books called Scrublands via audio, and I really enjoyed it. And this also, I feel like, could potentially be an easy recommendation for Christmas time. Easy to recommend books are kind of something that I now take into consideration with work because 2 birds, 1 stone. That's my hopes for this one. I'm really looking forward to it, like really looking forward to it. I would say that this one would also count for the prompt of a spooky kind of tome because I'm not a horror reader. I get scared really easily, but there is crime in this one, so kind of for that. Next up, we have Dark Age by Pierce Brown. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in last year's Tome Topple TBR, so this will definitely count for the prompt of read a tome that you started in a previous round. I'm here. This book is huge. This book is like 740 something pages long, and I think I need to restart it because I don't remember. I don't remember these first 44 pages. So this is the 5th book in the Red Rising saga. This is science fiction, I would say space opera, old Roman influences, that type of thing. These books are also very brutal and very dark, so I kind of have to be in the mood for heavy sci-fi and like lots of blood and stuff, but they're really good. So hopefully. Oh, this could also count for the prompt of a sequel, a series I haven't read in a while, the biggest book on my TBR. This could count for a whole bunch of things. Will that make me want to read it more? I don't know. We'll see how we feel leading up to it. Next up, this one kind of has a little contingency, and that is that I want to reread the 3rd book in the series before I get to this one, and that is The Mask Falling by Samantha Shannon. I am a huge lover of the Bone Season series, and this is book number 4. But this came out, did this come out last year? Is that how long I've been sitting on this? No, it did come out this year, but that's a good point. I say I'm a huge fan of this series, but I haven't yet got to this, and I know this released early this year. I know time doesn't equate to like lovers of series or whatever, but in my mind, I'm like, I waited so long for this book and I just haven't got around there yet. I have reread the first 2 in the series. Wait, hang on. Okay, so I've reread the Bone Season and the Mime Order, this one here, this year. Now I just need to read the 3rd book, which is The Song Rising. But out of all of them, out of the whole series, I feel like The Song Rising is my least favorite of them. It's not bad or anything, it's just compared to the other ones, not my favorite, so maybe that's why I've been putting it off. But I need to reread that first before I can get to this. So I've got a couple of weeks before this readathon starts, so this is a high possibility and probably the one that I'm most excited for so far on this list. If you haven't heard of the Bone Season series, it's clairvoyance, it's old London vibes but set in the future, so like 2054 or something like that, and a lot of like powers of the Mayans and divided societies and underground of like illegal happenings and stuff, and it's really, really good. This would also count for the prompt of a sequel and a series that I haven't delved into for a while. So realistically, that's where I'm going to cap my TBR because it's 2 weeks to read massive books essentially. So I think I can finish an audiobook and a physical book. Having said that, being a mood reader, I thought I would include 2 more with contingencies. So I have recently finished this Robin Hobb book. I now only have 1 book of hers to go in the Realm of the Elderling series. Do I buy that final book and read it for Tome Topple? Because these books on average are huge. Like this one's over 700 pages long, even though it looks kind of thin. I know the previous one's around the same length. So I could, if I'm in the mood, I could purchase the final book in this saga and read that for Tome Topple, which would be an incredible experience because it's like the final book. But then, would I want to leave that for a separate video? I don't know. So there's an option. Or Mistborn. The first trilogy, what is this trilogy called? Or is this just the Mistborn trilogy? Mistborn book 2. Okay. So I've read book 1 and book 2. I have not yet read the 3rd one, which is The Hero of Ages. I also haven't touched this series in a little while, but this book is huge. This one is, again, 770-ish pages, so could do that. These are both fantasy. So when I say that Tome Topple puts me in the mood for fantasy, like, you're not wrong, even though this is sci-fi, but you know. So again, I don't own the 3rd book in this one, but if I feel like buying it, that's allowed because it would have me finishing a series. We could do it. So these are some of the books that I could pick up in Tome Topple, plus the audiobook. I've already reserved the audiobook, so that is secured and locked in, but there's some other things that I could pick up. Once again, Sam's video will be linked down below for you to check out, as well as my social media stuff like my Instagram, the Nerd Daily, and a few other links to check out. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you did like it, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any future content from me, including potentially a Tome Topple vlog, depending on how busy I am with work reopening. We shall see. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing okay out there, and I will see you in another one. Bye!